Hello, I'm Elise Vance, the author of the channel Borrowed Lives, and I offer you fascinating stories. Like and subscribe to my channel.
I grew up watching my family manage a high-end corporate logistics and event firm. I knew what real large-scale execution cost: venue permits, bonded transport, comprehensive liability, certified safety teams. None of it comes cheap. So, when the most popular guy in our post-grad seminar claimed he found a 10-day tech and culture summit in Tokyo for $950, I warned everyone to inspect the fine print. They laughed in my face. They said I was bitter and envious. They wired their money straight to his private payment app and painted me as the bitter villain. But some warnings only make sense after the train wreck happens. On the final afternoon of our master's program, our cohort leader dropped a query into the group chat before most of us had even stepped out of the lecture hall. Where should we host our end-of-year retreat? The responses flooded in immediately. Beach resort, Miami, London, Tokyo. Go big or go home. I had zero intention of joining the thread. I knew exactly what would happen if I did. I had spent 2 years being tagged as the guy whose parents owned Apex Event Logistics in Denver, Colorado. To my peers, that meant expecting free consultation, zero-margin vendor hookups, and discounts deep enough to bleed the family business dry. Then Julian Vance, our cohort president, messaged me directly. "Mark, your family handles international summits, right? Could you check on Japan? If we get enough people, maybe we can secure an executive group rate." My family didn't run a shadowy online ticket resale shop. My father had spent 2 decades as a logistics director for global conferences before founding the company. My mother managed international compliance, insurance underwriters, venue security, and all the tedious legalities people ignore until a crisis erupts. I grew up in that control room. While other kids spent winters at ski camps, I spent mine cross-referencing manifest files, checking visa clearances, auditing vendor coverage, and listening to my mother repeat, "If it's not stamped in the contract, it doesn't exist." So, when my classmates talked about overseas travel like booking a cheap rideshare, I knew the reality. Long-haul flights cost real money. Secure venues cost money. Certified guides, insurance, transit permits, private transfers, caterers, and emergency backstops all cost money. Nothing abroad comes free. That evening, my parents helped me draft a realistic proposal for the cohort. 8 days, 7 nights, Tokyo and Kyoto. Direct flights from Seattle, 4-star central business hotels, 2 per room, private executive coach, licensed bilingual director, full event insurance, daily meals, major venue passes, no hidden mandatory stops. The cost was $3,800 per person. My mother tapped her stylus against the tablet. "We're taking virtually no margin on this." My father chuckled. "They're Mark's classmates. Call it a professional courtesy." The next day, during our final seminar wrap-up, I brought 30 printed proposals. At first, everyone was thrilled. Kyoto? Seriously? 4-star downtown stays? That's actually top tier. People passed the pages around. A few were already asking for the deposit portal. Then Julian Vance smirked from his desk by the glass wall. Julian was the kind of person people listened to purely because of his confidence. Tailored jackets, sharp hair, money from his family's commercial real estate empire, and enough LinkedIn followers to make half the department copy his posts. He held up his phone. $3,800, Julian said softly. "Mark, you really know how to turn a profit on your friends." The room went completely silent. I stared at him. Julian turned his screen toward the room. It was a screenshot from a live stream promo. Tech Summit and Culture Tour, Japan, 10 days. Original price $2,999. Special cohort deal, $950. Flights, hotels, and access included. 0 extra charges. Several classmates rushed over to his desk. $950? That's nearly $3,000 cheaper. How is Mark's quote so ridiculously high? Julian shrugged with practiced innocence. "I'm just looking out for everyone's wallet. We're fresh out of graduate school. Not everyone's family can drop $4,000 on an end-of-year trip." He looked over at me with a patronizing smile. "Mark, I get that your family runs a business, but we're colleagues. You don't need to squeeze a massive profit out of us. Heat rushed to my collar. Direct flight inventory to Tokyo in peak season can cost almost that much by itself, I said, keeping my voice steady. If a vendor is offering 10 days across 2 major cities for $950, you need to demand to see their vendor disclosures. Julian's eyebrows shot up. So you're claiming I'm lying? I'm saying you need to verify the entity behind the stream. He scrolled through a customer service chat and flipped the screen toward the room again. They explicitly state they have promotional corporate inventory and educational sponsorships. They run international cohorts all the time. Chloe Bennett, who had been sitting beside Julian, leaned against the table with a condescending grin. Chloe was an aspiring lifestyle creator with a massive following who loved playing the room. Mark, relax, she said. You don't have to create panic just because Julian found a legitimate deal. I stared at her. She pressed on, louder now. Besides, didn't your dad's firm get dragged online last autumn? Something about a client getting caught up in a fraudulent venue licensing scandal. My blood ran cold. She knew that rumor was entirely fake. A third-party client on one of our Singapore conferences had tried to sublease their corporate booth to an illegal vendor behind our backs. When authority agents shut down the booth, the client tried to blame my father's logistics team to dodge their own penalties. My parents had spent weeks proving complete compliance in court. Chloe knew the real story. She had messaged me privately back then saying, "Don't let bad clients ruin your day, people lie." Now she was weaponizing it in front of the entire cohort. The energy in the room flipped instantly. The classmates who had been eager seconds ago set my proposal papers down. Almost $4,000 is crazy steep. My budget won't cover that. If Japan can be done for under $1,000, why pay executive prices? I gathered my printed itineraries off the desks. I'm not forcing anyone into anything, I said calmly. I offered a fully verified structure. But if an enterprise trip is priced far below actual operational cost, there is always a catch. Ask your parents or financial advisors to review the service agreement, the entity license, the flight allocations, and the insurance coverage. Chloe smiled, adjusting her designer sunglasses. Don't worry about us, Mark. Julian and I have it covered. She paused, glancing at Julian. And if we get 30 signups, the host comps 2 full organizer passes. Julian grinned back at her. Let's book it. The money we save can go straight into high-end shopping in Ginza. The room cheered. I stopped arguing. Some traps are glaringly obvious, but when people want the dream badly enough, they label every voice of reason as jealousy. When I explained the situation to my parents that evening, my mother offered a cold, professional laugh. 10 days in Tokyo for $950? What is this, a charitable foundation or an event agency? My father didn't laugh. Have they signed formal agreements? I don't think so, I replied. Julian is collecting passport scans and wire deposits through his personal digital wallet. My mother's posture straightened. A personal wallet? She paused for a long moment. Warn them one last time in writing. After that, let them own their choices. So, I dropped a structured message into the cohort chat. For international group logistics, please verify the provider's commercial registration, legal corporate name on the agreement, business account routing, confirmed airline PNR numbers, hotel booking codes, comprehensive insurance policy IDs, and an itemized list of covered versus non-covered expenses. Chloe replied within seconds, Mark, can you stop being so toxic? We get that you're bitter about losing the deal. We're adults with master's degrees. We can manage our own affairs. Julian followed right after. Nobody owes your family a contract. Move on. A few others chimed in. Chloe is just trying to help us save money. This is getting awkward, Mark. I stared at the screen for 2 seconds. Then I hit leave group. Less than a minute later, Julian messaged my private inbox. Why did you leave? Feel guilty? I didn't reply. He sent another. Chloe said they might throw in a free pass for you if you stop starting drama. We're all in the same cohort. Don't be ungrateful. I finally typed back, no. My phone rang instantly. I answered. What is your problem? Julian snapped through the receiver. They're offering you Tokyo for free and you're acting offended. I leaned back in my desk chair. Do your parents know you're booking a $950 overseas summit through a random livestream link? Julian paused. That's none of your business. You don't care about the discount, I said quietly. You're doing this because Chloe and you get the organizer comps. If 30 people register, you two fly for free. Silence on the line. I had hit the mark. His voice dropped into an ugly tone. You think you know everything. I know what logistics cost, I replied. When you're stuck at an overseas terminal, don't call my family. He hung up. I looked at my phone. The phone calls weren't what concerned me. The flight seats and hotel blocks my parents had put on temporary hold for our cohort had to be confirmed within 72 hours. Since my class had rejected the booking, our agency was at risk of losing the security deposit. My mother was preparing to cancel the entire reservation. That was when Maya Lin walked into our office. Maya was the class president of the MBA evening track program. She was calm, analytical, and sharp. I heard your day cohort turned down the Tokyo logistics package, she said, holding up the printed itinerary I had shared earlier. My program read this. Our student board reviewed the numbers and agrees the pricing is completely solid. Everyone wants in. We'd rather pay for guaranteed execution. My mother stepped forward. We can transfer the space allocation, she said. But we require signed binding agreements, individual verification, underwriter's insurance, and payments directly to our commercial account. Maya nodded. That's precisely why we want to work with Apex. The following afternoon, 3 student representatives from the evening track arrived with documentation. They asked about policy changes, emergency flight rerouting, medical evacuations, hotel proximity to transit, and liability terms. My mother answered every query with precise clarity. When one representative apologized for asking so many detailed questions, my mother shook her head. We welcome questions, she said. It's blind trust that terrifies us. 3 days later, 38 professionals from Maya's track were fully ticketed and confirmed. Their departure date matched the exact schedule of my cohort's discount trip. Our group was flying out of Seattle direct to Haneda. Meanwhile, Chloe posted a photo on her social feed holding a printed boarding paper with the caption, "Graduation Summit begins now. Tokyo, here we come." 38 students from the evening track had chosen security over promises. They read the fine print. They asked the hard questions. And unlike my classmates, they were about to learn that proper planning is never the boring option. My classmates had called me greedy and followed a salesman into a trap. Price is what you pay. Value is what you get. And sometimes, cheap costs everything. Departure day arrived before dawn. Seattle-Tacoma International was buzzing with early morning traffic. My father stood near the dedicated group check-in desk with his digital tablet, looking completely at ease. My mother had a folder open on a luggage trolley, checking off emergency contact badges name by name. Maya Lin was the first from her group to walk up to us. She carried a sleek silver carry-on, an executive travel pouch across her chest, and the composed posture of someone who had double-checked every document my mother had sent out. Please inform your mother that my family threatened to lock me out if I misplaced this emergency badge, Maya joked smoothly. I laughed. My mother looked up with a small smile. Good. Your family respects operational safety. Maya gave a light mock salute. Insurance card, hotel roster, tour director hotline, agency desk contact, and itinerary printout. Fully prepped. My father checked her off the master manifest. Boarding pass? Maya showed her phone screen. Passport? She tapped her chest pouch. Luggage tag. She pointed to the heavy-duty Apex tag secured on her handle. My father nodded once. Perfect. Stay with the group past security. No solo detours until we clear the gate. Understood, Captain, Maya said, stepping aside. She leaned toward me. This feels remarkably high-end. That's the standard, I replied. We don't do guesswork. Around us, the evening track group moved through check-in smoothly. Classmates chatted, snapped photos, and shared coffee. My parents distributed final itinerary cards while answering brief questions about currency exchange and gate locations. It was orderly, structured, and completely controlled. Exactly how international logistics should look before a long journey. Then my original cohort arrived. I heard their loud voices before they even rounded the corner near the main concourse. Tokyo Underground. Let's go. Chloe Bennett walked at the front, camera held high on a stabilizer stick, live streaming to her followers. She wore a pristine designer leisure set, large sunglasses, and the glowing smile of someone who had never faced administrative reality. Julian Vance walked beside her, hands in his pockets, looking like he owned the terminal. Behind them stretched a noisy line of my classmates dragging heavy luggage, laughing, filming, and waving printouts like golden passes. Chloe turned her camera toward me the moment she spotted our counter. Look who's here. Mark, still time to admit Julian found the deal of the century. A few people chuckled behind her. Julian smirked. We'll send you greetings from Shibuya with the $3,000 we saved. I didn't answer. My mother's pen didn't even pause on her clipboard. Maya muttered softly under her breath, "Do they always travel like an unmoderated group chat?" Pretty much, I replied quietly. Julian's group lined up 2 desks over at the commercial airline counter. The gate agent smiled professionally and requested Julian's passport. Julian handed it over, then proudly flipped his phone screen toward her. Group reservation. Global Student Summit. The agent scanned the digital QR code. A soft chime sounded, an error. She tried a second time. Julian's smile remained steady. Airport systems are always glitchy. The agent typed rapidly on her key terminal, frowned, and looked up. Do you have a 13-digit ticket e-number or booking reference? Julian swiped to a PDF document. This is the confirmation voucher. The agent read it line by line, then looked at him with professional fatigue. Sir, this is a booking request confirmation. It is not an issued ticket. Julian blinked. It says confirmed status at the top. It says request received, the agent clarified calmly. There are no issued passenger ticket numbers associated with this file. Julian's friend leaned over the counter. But it has a system barcode. The agent looked at him with flat eyes. Sir, a barcode on a quote sheet is not an airline ticket. The chatter behind them died so abruptly it felt like a circuit breaker had tripped. Chloe's hand tightened around her gimbal setup. Can you check under the corporate group name again? Julian asked, his voice losing its confident edge. The agent typed once more. I see no ticketed space under Global Student Summit on this flight. A parent who had tagged along to see off his daughter pushed to the front. What do you mean, not ticketed? We paid weeks ago. Another student shoved his screen toward the counter. Try my code. The agent scanned it. No active ticket. Another. No ticket. A third. Nothing in the manifest. My mother calmly handed a heavy luggage tag to a student in Maya's group. Please proceed toward security line B. We have a gate to catch. 2 completely separate realities were unfolding 6 feet apart. On our side, verified passports matched active passenger profiles. On Julian's side, digital graphics met operational truth. Chloe forced a nervous laugh. Everyone just relax. It's obviously a technical glitch on the airline's end. I'll message their organizer support. She tapped her phone once. No response. She opened the Livestream vendor chat room. Her thumb froze mid-scroll. Julian leaned over her shoulder. What does it say? Chloe tried to tilt the phone away, but the parent beside her grabbed her wrist and read the screen out loud for everyone to hear. Notice, due to high-demand peak season carrier adjustments, final seat activation requires a mandatory international regulatory and fuel surcharge of $2,450 per traveler. Hotel allocation subject to venue availability upon receipt of funds. Complete silence swallowed the terminal corridor. Then absolute chaos exploded. Additional fee? We already transferred full payment. What do you mean subject to availability? Where are the hotel addresses? Do we even have insurance coverage? Chloe, who did you transfer our money to? Chloe's face turned ghastly pale. It's refundable. I think. Maybe it's just the final balance split. Julian tried to step in, raising his hands. Guys, calm down. Promotional travel packages always have additional administrative fees. My father looked over from his tablet, his voice clear and resonant across the concourse. No, legitimate group travel does not. The surrounding line fell quiet, but my father's words carried total authority. A mother in a business suit turned away from Julian's group and walked directly to our counter with the printed PDF. Can Apex Event Logistics look at this document? Chloe's eyes flashed with anger. We don't need his family. The mother ignored her completely. My mother took the paper. I watched her face go expressionless, not shocked, but deeply offended as a professional. No commercial registration number, my mother read aloud softly. No legal business address. No issued carrier ticket codes. No confirmed hotel roster. No policy number for liability insurance. No cancellation schedule. The mother's knuckles turned white on her handbag. The payment instructions, they said transfers were for vendor facilitation. It means 0 services were secured, my mother said flatly. Another parent raised his voice, panicking. But we transferred thousands. My mother looked him in the eye. Through what channel? Silence. Then someone near the back muttered, "Personal digital transfer app." My mother closed the folder. Personal payment apps offer 0 consumer travel protection. That single statement hit the crowd like a sledgehammer. Parents turned on Chloe and Julian instantly. I transferred funds directly to your personal handle. So did I. You said you were consolidating for the group. My son sent you his passport scan. Where's that money right now? Chloe pulled her phone close to her chest, her confidence utterly shattered. I forwarded everything to the vendor link they provided. Show us the transaction receipt. I have the confirmation page. Show us the bank portal right now. Chloe's thumb slipped twice as she fumbled with her screen. Julian looked around desperately, his eyes landing on me. This is absurd, Julian spat, taking a step toward me. You're enjoying this, aren't you? You probably reported the booking link or called the carrier. Your family lost the contract, so now you want everyone stranded. My mother's posture went rigid. I stepped past her before she could speak. No, I said calmly. I pulled up my phone and brought up the screenshots from our cohort chat. My original warnings detailing business registration, entity accounts, ticket numbers, and insurance policies. Chloe's response calling me toxic. Julian's message telling me nobody owed my family anything. I turned the screen toward the surrounding parents. My family gave your children a complete, fully protected contract 3 weeks ago. A classmate near the back muttered defensively, "You should have warned us louder." I met his gaze. When I warned you politely, you told me I was being embarrassing. His face flushed crimson. Over the concourse speakers, the chime sounded for final check-in for the Haneda flight. My father checked his watch. Mark. I knew that tone. Maya's group was our priority, the students whose families had signed real agreements, paid through legitimate corporate channels, and secured actual tickets. My former classmates were left standing in a disorganized mess of heavy bags, broken egos, and mounting panic. For a brief second, a flicker of guilt crossed my mind. But Maya leaned over and whispered, "You gave them the truth when it mattered. Choosing not to drown with them isn't cruelty, it's self-respect." My father raised his digital tablet. Apex Logistics Group, passports out. Group stay together. Chloe grabbed my forearm as I turned to walk away. Mark, wait. Your parents can fix this, right? They have industry connections. I looked down at her hand on my sleeve. She let go instantly. My parents run a logistics firm, I told her quietly. They don't perform miracles for free. Her face completely crumbled. My mother turned to face the panicking parents one last time. Her voice was icy, clear, and unyielding. We can offer emergency consultation services once our contracted group clears security. However, we cannot guarantee flight availability today. Last-minute international fares and immediate hotel block bookings will cost significantly more than our initial quote. Everything will require signed binding contracts and direct commercial bank transfers. No personal payment apps. A father looked pale. How much are we talking about? My father answered frankly. $7,000 to $8,000 per traveler at current day of rates. Some may not leave until late tomorrow. A girl in the back started crying. The airline broadcasted the final gate call for our flight. My mother placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. Let's move. I walked beside Maya's group toward security, leaving Julian and Chloe standing in the middle of the terminal, surrounded by furious parents and classmates realizing the true cost of their bargain. As we cleared security, Maya glanced back across the terminal lobby. "Do you think any of them actually make it out today?" "Not a chance," I said. "Are you okay?" "Me?" She smiled, patting her travel pouch. "I have a verified seat and full insurance. I've never been better." Maya's group boarded right on schedule. My father sent a photo update from the gate concourse. 38 professionals settled into their seats, every passport accounted for, and 0 operational delays. My mother was already confirming that ground transport in Tokyo was synced with our flight's estimated arrival time. Meanwhile, back at Seattle-Tacoma, Julian and Chloe's disaster went viral within hours. Someone had recorded the airline agent's cold delivery at the desk. "Sir, a barcode on a quote sheet is not an airline ticket." That single clip racked up millions of views across platforms before our flight even crossed the Pacific. Then came the follow-up videos. Chloe tearfully trying to explain digital wallet transfers while furious parents yelled in the background. Julian staring blankly at his phone while slowly backing away from the group. Dozens of students sitting on their luggage in the terminal with neck pillows still around their necks and nowhere to go. The internet captions wrote themselves. $950 Tokyo trip becomes most expensive airport lounge stay in history. Chloe deleted her original live stream promo first. Then her travel photos. Then every post where she had accused my family of overcharging. But deleting content online never erases it, it only makes people re-upload it faster. By mid-afternoon, the shadowy livestream travel vendor's social page vanished completely. 2 hours later, a brand new account popped up under a slightly different name with identical promotional banners. My mother looked at her tablet during our layover prep and sighed. Scammers don't retire, they just rebrand. Some desperate families tried to pay the sudden $2,450 regulatory surcharge out of panic. The customer service chat went dead the second the transfers cleared. Other families filed fraud reports with their banks, only to discover that peer-to-peer transfers made willingly are almost impossible to reverse immediately. 2 families managed to rebook through a legitimate emergency ticketing desk at the airport, paying over $8,500 per person to leave 2 days late, missing half the itinerary entirely. The rest simply went home. One parent called my mother crying over the phone. "Can our travel insurance policy cover the funds we lost?" My mother paused before answering with gentle firmness. "To file an insurance claim, you have to hold an active insurance policy. You didn't have one." That was the hardest lesson for them. Not every mistake comes with a safety net or a refund button. Julian Vance messaged me 2 days later. "I'm sorry, Mark." Followed shortly by, "I should have listened when you brought the proposal. I didn't defend you when Chloe mocked your family. That was wrong." I read the texts without responding. Then a third message came through. "I'm handing over all chat logs for the department review meeting. I'll tell everyone you gave us proper warnings." Apex Logistics was completely in the right. It didn't undo the damage, but late honesty was still better than cowardice. Meanwhile, Maya's group was experiencing the exact journey my cohort thought they had bought. Smooth arrival at Haneda, private executive shuttle waiting, dedicated local director holding an Apex Logistics sign. Hotel cards ready upon arrival. Breakfast every morning served in dedicated dining rooms, not rushed terminal snacks. Maya sent me updates every day. Sunset over the Kyoto skyline. Private access at historic sites. A photo of traditional matcha tea captioned, "Fully covered, Julian." Mount Fuji visible under a crystal-clear sky. My father holding up a lost travel pouch that one student had left in his hotel room safe. Safe travel didn't look flashy on a stream. It looked like total peace of mind. The department review hearing took place shortly after we returned. The campus conference hall was packed with program directors, university officials, angry parents, and embarrassed students. Chloe sat near the front without makeup, looking exhausted. Julian sat 2 rows behind her, staring at his shoes. My parents and I sat at a central table with our documentation folders. The department chair opened the floor. "We need to establish accountability, trace the missing funds, and confirm whether Apex Event Logistics had any connection to this failed excursion." My mother's jaw set into a firm line. The fact that our legitimate firm was even being mentioned in the same breath as a shady livestream scam was insulting, but necessary to clarify. Chloe stood up first, her voice trembling. I was just trying to help everyone get a cheap trip. I was a victim too. A few parents softened. Then I plugged my laptop into the room's main projector. The first slide showed our original Apex proposal. The second showed the complete cost breakdown: flights, 4-star accommodations, dedicated transport, certified guides, comprehensive insurance, permits, and tax compliance. My mother stood up. Apex Event Logistics does not set pricing based on greed. It costs real money to guarantee safety, quality, and legal compliance in foreign nations. Nobody argued. I clicked to the next slide. My original group chat warnings, Chloe's dismissive replies, Julian calling me jealous, and classmates laughing at the warning. Julian stood up from his seat. Mark gave us full disclosures. I failed as cohort president. I should have verified the vendor instead of attacking him. Apex Logistics did everything right. His admission didn't erase his mistake, but it put an end to the lies. I clicked to the next slide, digital transfer receipts. Several parents gasped. A father stood up, facing Chloe. Did you collect tens of thousands of dollars into your personal account? Chloe's voice shook. I was just consolidating it for the deal. How much money passed through your handles? He demanded. My mother slid a blank notepad across the table toward Chloe. Then you should start writing down every transaction. I switched to the final screenshot, the Livestream Organizer Incentive Clause. Reach 30 paid registrants, earn 2 full organizer passes. The room erupted. Parents turned toward Chloe and Julian in disgust. So our kids paid for your free flights, a mother shouted. Chloe broke down crying. I didn't steal anything. Maya's mother, who had come to support our family, stood up from the gallery. You didn't get free flights either. You got stranded at the terminal. The meeting quickly turned from accusations into legal accounting. Chloe was given 48 hours to provide full bank statements for every dollar received. The university launched a formal disciplinary review into unauthorized student commercial solicitations. Julian lost his post-grad corporate placement at his family's partner firm after the company cited poor ethical judgment. His family made him publish a formal, written retraction regarding the false legal rumors he spread about Apex Logistics. Our firm's online page filled with positive testimonials from corporate clients and evening track parents who knew the truth. When Chloe messaged me weeks later begging me to post a statement saying she wasn't a scammer, and Julian asked if I could tell his former employers that he apologized, I blocked both numbers. They wanted my silence when I offered them protection. They only wanted my voice when consequences arrived. I framed Maya's postcard on our office wall beside my family's commercial logistics license. On the back, she had written, "Questions are cheap. Disasters are expensive." Outside, the illuminated sign above our building read, Apex Event Logistics. My parents sold execution. Not miracles. Not barcodes on fake quotes. Real planning. Real legal coverage. Real accountability. Julian and Chloe sold a dream for $950. I offered them the truth for free. In the end, that was the one price they couldn't afford.